talk a little bit about overall the sales process in nearshoring company. What do you find the most challenging and complex part of the sales process? Like, yeah, anything you can say on that.
To my mind, the most challenging, and I would be probably like, this is something that I think is nothing as a know-how here. The hardest part is actually to deliver, because like there are different companies, different approaches. So when we are speaking about outsourcing providers, probably it would be like, while I have not worked on project-based outsourcing, I would suppose that the hardest part for them would be to suggest a setup and a proposal for the project that would be accepted by the client. While in our approach, to sell, so to say, or to educate about our services, in many cases you would have you would get a yes, let's give it a try. However, the harder part comes next when it's not only about agreeing about the terms, about the conditions. This is the easier part, I would say. It's about how you can deliver afterwards. So how you can deliver to your promises to hire within the suggested time frame, and the quality of the resources that the client would expect. The complicated part here would be that on a pre-sale stage, right, until we actually go into the recruitment process, in most of the cases, as many questions as we can ask the potential client, we would not fully understand what is the level and basically what resource is ideal for them. So this is something that we can only see when they interview 1, 2, 3 people, we hear their comments, and only then we can find these ideal candidates for them. So to my mind, this is the hardest part, not only to promise, but also to keep our promises and to deliver, because if we do, then most probably it will end up in long-term and successful cooperation. But if we do not, there is a big chance that they would come to another vendor.
Okay, good. Let's think about an ideal client. Can you describe one?
This is a quite complicated question, because honestly speaking, we have very different companies who come to us and who have successful cooperation with us. So the reason for that is not actually the reason. So we would have very small companies who have very small need, and they are trying their strengths on Ukrainian market, and we would end up having very successful long-term cooperation and scaling up their team. And on the other hand, we have these corporate clients who come with a very concrete plan to hire 15-20 people here, and we would still have the same long-term good cooperation with them, while they are completely different. But if to find these similarities between these very different type of companies, I would say that the ideal client is the one who is ready for healthy cooperation. And by saying that, I would mean that there are 2 approaches. Both of them are not actually valid. But the one is the company coming to a vendor thinking, please amaze me with what you have, just surprise me with what you can deliver and how far you can go. Because in this case, they expect for the vendor to be basically doing everything without any input from their side. In most of the cases, even if they can deliver first, most probably they would not be able to deliver with good retention, just because the client would not be engaged in this in this cooperation at all. So there is other approach where the client comes and says, okay, we need you as a support, basically supporting partner, but we know everything. We do not need your help in anything but provision of the stuff that we cannot do from far. So this is another approach that also on a long-term perspective, in many cases it does not work, just because they are not ready to hear what the vendor has to say. And after all, of course, the company can be first of all, older, it can be more experienced, it can be very successful in their local market, but they cannot know the insides of Ukrainian market as the vendor does. So unless they're ready to hear the vendor's point of view and the vendor's input in their cooperation, most probably the team would not last long. So if the client is ready by coming to Ukraine to be, first of all, engaging in the cooperation from the very start, so being ready to suggest and to comment on the very first stages as in recruitment side, and then go on by listening to vendors' input about the team setup, about how it is better to retain the team, some maybe advice on or retention points for each team member. Most probably such cooperation would not live long, as opposed to the one who is ready to hear and give their own inputs into cooperation. And this would work for both small and large corporate clients.